Hey, what's going on, good people? Welcome to Russ Can Fly. Time to show Charlie some TLC. Let's get it.
Oh my God, Russ can fly.
All right, so I'm out here at the hangar, and of course, what I want to do right now is grab that tow bar right there, put it right there on Charlie's front landing gear, and tow her out of the hangar, take her over there to the runway, and be gone. But alas, as I've said in one of my previous videos where I talked about some of the things that I hate about my aircraft is I don't get to fly as much as I want to. This is one of those days. If you look there, that ceiling is just not good for me. The ceiling is about 1,500 feet or so, and it is broken. So that ceiling height keeps me from flying because I don't have my instrument rating. Plus, even if I did, flying in actual, as a low time IFR certified pilot by myself probably wouldn't be the greatest thing to do anyway. So I am ostensibly grounded today, but that doesn't mean that there's not stuff that I can do to prepare for my next flight. So one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to come out, clean up the plane, and there's some things that I'm going to show you that now that I own my own airplane, I have to be cognizant of. So let's go through them, and I'll actually have to get to it. And yes, you see the sun shining on my face, but that has nothing to do with the clouds up there. Oh, I want to fly. But at any rate, the first thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that I clean the windscreen. There's some bugs and some other stuff on there, so I need to get that cleaned off. And it's interesting, I'm going to freely admit that when I was renting, I never cleaned that thing off. And that's a shame because really, before you fly, that's one of the things that's actually on the checklist and something that I should do. But I guess one of the things I will admit is every time I would fly, I would just be exhausted. So when I came back, the last thing I thought about was cleaning the windscreen. But you would think that before I would fly, I would be thinking about cleaning the windscreen. Well, here's the problem. I'd be so excited that I was gonna fly, I didn't have time to clean the windscreen. And so the windscreen always, was never showing any love, but I'm definitely, more convinced that now I have to be mindful of that, make sure the windscreen is clean. And of course, that's something that's important. So this is what I use to clean the windscreen, and it's pretty much a basic job, nothing too spectacular. So as you can see, I use this Prist, P-R-I-S-T, acrylic and plastic windscreen cleaner. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I only use this because Mr. Terry, the guy who owned the airplane before me, actually had it in the airplane. But I did hear that, this is, pretty good to use. I know some people use some other products and some other things. What was clear to me was the big no-no was to not use glass cleaner. The alcohols and stuff like that could be a little rough on the windscreens. So, Prist is not paying me to say this, but this is just what I use because it was in the airplane. I heard, a lot about this, and, thankfully Mr. Terry had this in the airplane. So let's go over and clean this windscreen. Now, one of the things that somebody told me was that one of the things I shouldn't do is do this and this. So I try to be mindful to just kind of take it down this way. And one of the things that seems to be kind of true about this stuff is a little goes a long way. And it also does say shake well before using. And I just do some sprays. Nothing too much. And just some regular paper towels. Nothing complicated. I do have a rag that I use that I'll show you for some of the other cleaning that I'm going to do. But this is pretty much it. Just spray it on. And luckily this doesn't leave a film. That's one of the things I do like about this. I did use one other cleaner that didn't do a bad job, but it definitely left a film. This is also gives me an opportunity to inspect the windscreen. Look for cracks or any leaks or whatever. Anything really out of the ordinary that I should be checking out before the annual, just so I can point that out to the mechanic. All right, time for the other side. Now, for whatever reason, the other side seems to just be easier to do down here. So, and you know, it's interesting because I always do that side up on the wing, but on this side, I do it on the ground. So, I don't know. Maybe people do it a little differently, but this is the way I do it. And again, I'm just mindful to just spray it on evenly. I'm looking for the smash bugs that are up at 5,000 feet. Still kind of trips me out that bugs are that high. Running away from birds, I guess. Or just enjoying the flight. I don't blame them. I mean, most of the time I hit bugs, it's definitely down ground level. But I've run into some bugs like 7,500 feet. I'm cruising along, and then all of a sudden, splat, bug on the windscreen, and I'm like, what's that all about? All right, so chore number one, all down. And I'm just wiping some of these bugs along the bottom here, not on the actual windscreen. All right, the second job I want to do is a little bit more involved. It's going to take me a little longer. But one of the things that the plane likes to collect is a lot of bugs, just like your car. And so there's places where there's, you know, lots of bugs, and I like to get rid of that just because, you know, bugs on your paint, just like in your car, and, you know, just making the plane, keeping it up, making it look nice, all of that kind of stuff. So I use this wash and wax off. It's like a waterless wash, and then this like soft towel, basically like terry cloth, but for cars. Basically a detailing cloth. So these two things together work pretty well. I've got a bunch of this stuff, and it really does work very, very well. Again, Mr. Terry, thank you for thank you for hooking me up with this. This is actually one of the first things I bought as soon as I got back to Philadelphia, was more of this because, you know, he gave me this bottle, but of course I went through it pretty quickly, especially given the fact that when we flew back from Texas, there was bugs galore on the airplane. So definitely want to hit some primary surface, and I'll just show you like what I want to, you know, what I want to hit. So of course, the first place is the spinner, and as you can see, just blood and guts along there, along the cowling here, the top of the cowling, definitely all of the wing edges here, just along this wing edge, you can see just obliterated bugs along the wings edge there, and then back here on the elevator, and then on the vertical stab sometimes too is a lot of bugs. I had this plane parked for about an hour, and you see this? You know what this is? That's bird poop. Within 2 hours, they were trying to get in there to make a nest. My gosh, wildlife loves airplanes. You think we love them, so does wildlife. I mean, literally, I saw this bird poop, and I was like, those little buggers were trying to get in there to make a nest. So that's why one of the things you have to always be mindful of what's happening, you know, with an airplane, because there's always, you know, stuff happening. So even on days when I don't fly, I find it incumbent upon myself to come out here, check on the airplane, make sure it's cool, but also to do stuff like this, you know, the rub downs, you know, and all that kind of stuff, just to make sure everything is cool. So yeah, so let me get to that and I'll be back to you on the other side. So one of the things that's interesting is just this spray on, spray off nature. So I just kind of spray this on along the surface here, kind of pause where I see some bugs, and then I just come back and then start rubbing. And yeah, and that's usually all it takes. So see that there? You can see where there's some bugs there. Just kind of rub this, little bit of elbow grease, and thank the Lord it's not too hot. Because when I've done this when it's been hot, it's not pretty. So, but see how that comes right off? So again, I'm not endorsing that product necessarily, but this stuff really does work wonders. And one of the things I will say is, said it's good for boats too. So, you know, if you have a boat, you're looking for something to do some quick cleaning, you know, and try to give it a nice little waxy shine. This stuff works pretty good. I mean, I'm really impressed. I don't have to do a whole lot of scrubbing, and plus after it leaves a nice little shine, which I like as well. Yeah, so, and that's it. So I usually come down this way, and then I'll come back and then wipe again this way. Then I always do this fuel tank area, just because this paint looks nice, and it's just nice to give this a nice little shine. Wipe around here, the fill ports. So this is one of the full fuel caps for the tip tank. So I usually wipe around there too, because every now and then when I'm putting fuel in, I'll get some fuel in there. Wipe gently around the wing lights there, and then I come back to this edge and just work my way back, just in case I've missed anything on this side. And for all you guys out there, you know what I'm feeling right now. You remember those days when you had your first car and you're just wiping on it and it's looking clean and you're feeling good? Yeah, that's the feeling right about now. Just that feeling of, look at my baby, ain't she pretty? Yeah, so, and then I just do this. And again, one of the things that I do is I'm just checking around my gas caps. So this is one of the gas caps for the main tank. You see 25 US gallons. But one of the things I'm doing is I'm looking at all these screws and rivets and bolts. This is really not only for it to look nice, which I really want it to look nice, but I'm also just kind of looking at the flight control surfaces, the wings, that kind of stuff, to see if anything is amiss. You know, if any of these screws are loose or anything around here, anything that just kind of seems out of order. And so really I just look at this to make sure everything is good. And as you can see, she cleans up nice. Now, of course, there's a couple of blemishes and stuff like that, but that just gives her character. But see how that looks nice and clean? And what you see is like marks or scratches, but it really does take those bugs right off. So you can see you've done that wing. That wing looks good. Done the cowling and the spinner. And you can see it just makes it look nice. Now, one of the things I know I need to do, or I'm thinking about doing, is getting the prop repainted, because that's what you're seeing here. And that's just basically, you know, this thing beating through the air and it just beating the paint off of there. So that's one thing I might get redone. I'll see. I mean, it's a cosmetic thing. I just want to make sure though that, you know, everything else is good, since annual will be coming up next month. Since it is headed towards, I mean, it is September. And so, yeah, we'll be doing annual next month. Let me hit this other wing. Gonna get back there, and then I'll tell you about what I'm gonna do third. And I'm gonna mention something that, you know, you may be wondering or has come up. All right, so see you on the other side. Okay, so that bit of business is done. Got the spinner, all the control surfaces are now bug-free, looking nice and crispy and shiny, the way Charlie should be. And you know, the power of editing, it was mere seconds for you. I gotta tell you, it wasn't seconds for me. Yeah, it's like, feels like I get a workout. So those are the first two things that I've gotten done. And I haven't really had to do anything with the you know, the sides yet. Every now and then I do rub over here on the sides just to, you know, keep the shine going. I do rub back there, and then sometimes on the top, just in case anything has leaked on it, but everything looks good. So first two missions are complete. Third mission on deck, and here's what it looks like. So I have to get down here in order to get to the third mission, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So as you can see, I have the wheel pant off, and I have it actually off on both sides. And if you notice, the wheel pants are back over there. I took them off because I had to get to inflate the tires. The tires are a little low, and I'll show you what that looks like. If you look at the front, that front tire is a little low. And you see I haven't taken the wheel pan off yet because I don't have the tools. I had the tools here before. Just gonna get a set of tools to keep out here. But at any rate, I took the wheel pants off because in order to get to the stem to fill the tire, you see where that stem is? Well, that wheel pant comes down and it blocks the stem. So what I had to do was take the wheel pan off in order to get to the stem to put some air in the tire. And I'm seeing that on the front as well. So I'll be taking that off. I'll probably put that one back on because I'm wondering if I can roll the airplane. I don't know. But it was clear I did not have enough room to roll the airplane to get to that wheel, you know, to get to that stem to fill the tires, because the tires definitely needed some air. But the real project is getting that cleaned up as well. And then see in there, that silver part, Brandon said I should get in there and clean that out as well, because there's an O-ring up in there that the shock goes up into. And one of the things that he said was, you get dirt and all that kind of stuff, it can go up into that O-ring, which I believe is like a rubber gasket. And if it goes up in there, it can, you know, just impact that gasket. And then next thing you know, you have some of the fluid that's in that, I'm just gonna call it a shock absorber. But you have some fluid in that shock absorber begin to come out. So he said it's important to go ahead and clean that up. So I'm going to do just that. The other chore that I'm probably gonna have to do is get like another cheapy sprocket set that I can keep here at the airport, so I can get to those bolts to take that air pan off. Now probably what I will contemplate doing is changing the wheel pans out. Now the ones that were on the airplane, you know, match beautifully, but I'm wondering if I can find some wheel pans that has like a little access door. So like, you know, you can maybe take off a few screws, take out a little panel, and then get to the stem that way, as opposed to having to take the whole wheel pan off, put the air in, and then put the whole wheel pan on. Because yeah, that's, you know, and I'm so torn, because you don't lose much in performance, 2, 3, 4 knots, but it's a whole lot taking them on and off to put air in the tires. But it does change the look. I do like the look of the wheel pants on there, but just maintaining the tires is just, that's a conundrum, people. So I'm hoping that the solution is changing the type of wheel pant, so that I don't have to keep taking them off and on, but still be able to get to and maintain tire, appropriate tire pressure, but keep the look of the wheel pants. So that's something that's on the radar screen. But at any rate, let me get to this job. This is my final job I'm going to do, and I might run to the hardware store. I don't know what size those bolts are. I'm sure if I look in the POH for those wheel pants, but yeah, I gotta take that one off. And for this job, I'm gonna use the same cleaner for this part. Just spray the cleaner on there and let that sit a little bit more. And you can see that is really that is really nasty up in there. But for down in here, since that's oily, I have like a degreaser and a different type of towel that I'm gonna use for down in there to get that oily stuff off of there. So, all right, let's handle this business. Okay, so after some rubbing and some real elbow grease, this is the after. And as you can see, just got all that dirt and oil off of that shock there, and of course just all of the bugs and mess off of that. So just clean it up a little bit. I mean, not make it look pristine, but just enough that if this comes up, that it's not stuff is going up in there and impacting that O-ring. Okay, so that's it. And I know this video was different, and I gotta tell you, yeah, I came out here fully expecting to fly. That is, every time I'm out here, that's my expectation, that I'm gonna come out here and fly. But sometimes the weather doesn't cooperate. The ceilings are only 2,200 feet. Oh, I think a King Air is landing. Yeah, that sounds like a King Air landing. Yeah, definitely. And you can always tell King Air is landing because they do like this reverse propeller thing, and it makes that distinctive sound. So, but anyway, I get distracted. I thank you all for your support. If you have not subscribed to the channel, I would ask that you do so. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you learned something from this video, think about hitting that thumbs up button. Again, I would be most appreciative. All right, with that, I'm out. Russ Kid, Russ Can Fly. See you later. Peace.